Starting up. Sounds great. Got the IP. Got it. Export the IP. And let's do a quick nmap scan -p -sc -sc -sv at the target IP tac open. And I'm going to export the IP down here as well. Excellent. So I'll correct that later. It is in fact Dawn-1. I may have to cut out the first part. But I apologize to anybody on YouTube that was expecting Dawn-2. I will correct that. And hopefully such to a point that you don't expect Dawn-2. We're going to need to get rid of this as well. And we'll get rid of this. And we'll get rid of this. We'll do that next time. Binary exploitation all the way. I know, I could press V and get verbosity. I just like it all at the end. There we go. Okay, so we have Dawn-1. I recognize this. Apologies, boys and girls. Apologies, apologies. We have port 80, HTTP. I hope you guys forgive me. NetBIOS SSN, MySQL, and it looks like we have server message block. It happens, don't worry about it. Thank you very much. Always forgiven, of course, you guys rock. We have the fully qualified domain name is just Dawn. So we got the FQDN back. We have our target as Debian. And let's go up here. And I'm going to actually put the IP address of the new target machine up there conveniently for us. Nice. And our target is Debian. And it looks like we have, yep, Apache 2.4. 3306 doesn't look like unauthorized access. We'll check that. But let's go ahead and put the ports up here after we do some highlighting. Yeah, interesting machine. This is the one I wanted to do, man. This is it. 139 and 445. And let's see. 3306. Hey, I'm all for more binary exploitation, though. If the next one in the series is BenX, then that's what it is. So that's what we'll do. 80 looks like HTTP. And then we have NetBIOS SSN, which is going to be like SMB. Just think like SMB or CIFS, Common Internet File Structure. Samba is what it's going to be, but I pretty much treat them the same. MySQL. And what we're going to do for HTTP is we're going to do directory fuzzing and file fuzzing. We're going to do NICTO. We're going to check for robots.txt, .svn entries, you know, .ds stores, just things to get off the list. What else do we want to do? Some people are thinking Eternal Blue. I don't know. Is it vulnerable to Eternal Blue? Let's do an nmap -p139145 -- script is equal to smb-vuln -star and at the target IP. Oh, 14. My bad. Good catch there. 445. See if it's vulnerable. Probably not. Samba is clean room. Yep, I agree as well. But we'll let that go. And I'm going to copy the IP here while we're running that scan. Going to get it into a web browser. And let's see what we have. Website is under construction. Try again later. Nika, leave the site right now. Install camera feeds. Update our personnel. So we're definitely going to be fuzzing this. Especially if it's under construction. It is apparently vulnerable to a denial of service. But we're not doing any denial of service. There's that denial of service there. So we're going to export the URL to equal that. And down here. And you know how it goes. We're going to grab fuzzing for files and let that go. Fuzzing for directories as well. And we're going to let that go as well. So we're saying wfuzz, we want color in our output. File input method is file. We're using seclists. Discovery, web content, raft large files. We're suppressing any 404 responses, and that is at the target URL, which is our environment variable. While that's running, let's go ahead and check for robots, I guess. Robots.txt, good suggestion, chat. Doesn't seem that it's there. Any .svn development going on here? No. .ds stores we can run strings across. Doesn't look like it. But we checked. And, you know. Is this a PHP file? Index.php? HTML? Yeah, it's HTML. Okay, oh, we found logs. Particule says logs looks interesting. I agree. Let's go ahead and move this over here. wfuzz for files in the web root, directories in the web root. The things I find for files that looks interesting is index.html. Everything else is looking like a code 403. So for the time being, I'm going to skip over that. But it does tell me that, you know, htaccess is supported, potentially PHP is supported because, you know, we got a 293 failed, but for PHP. So /logs looks good. We also have icons, but that's 403. Server status is 403. It looks like logs is where we're going to be going. So, and index.html. Fingers crossed. Let's go to logs. Okay. Auth.log. Forbidden. Daemon.log. 0 bytes. Error.log. 0 bytes. Management.log. Oh, well, we're definitely onto something. So this is our enumeration here. This all counts as enumeration, especially. And let's take a look at what we got. We got cron. Looks like they're running pspy as well, which is kind of funny. Kind of funny. And it looks like we have some bin shell executing home Dawn IT department. And it's being chmodded here. Bin shell chmod 777 on home Dawn IT department web control. How do we get a file into that? Hold on a second. If we cancel out of this and we got CCTV back. Also, I do need to add this in case we need to fuzz that. CCTV, anything past it. But that is also, even though it's forbidden, the reason I'm keeping that is because I want to fuzz past it, potentially. But if I pause what we're doing here, and we go to nmap-p 139.445, and we say -- script is equal to smb enum shares at the target IP, what do we get back? What do we get back? Okay. We got shares. Let's bring these over to our notes. Host script results. Copy and paste into our notes. I'll put this under, we'll put this up here under 139 and 445 collectively. That we have the IPC share. We have IT department. Look at that. See? Hunch was correct. See home Dawn. We have a valid user there. So we know Dawn is a valid user. So I'm going to go up here and put valid user we know is at least Dawn. That is one such valid user. And beyond that, we're going to run a tool called enum for Linux at the target IP. And let's see what we get back. Still checking for directories in the meantime. Can't find workgroup domain. Basically. So we have access, anonymous access to read and write. I think I see where this is going. Yeah, anonymous access. User can access read and write. And then we have the printer. This to temp, which is normal. Enumerating out. We have Dawn. Okay. RID cycling. Can we get any users back? Perhaps. Or SIDS. Enumerating users. Well, while that's running, let's go ahead and cancel this. And what we're going to do is SMB client to 192.168. What was our target IP, guys? 204.11, 204.11/IT dept -n to say we want to attempt an SMB null share connection or SMB null session. And we're in, and it said we had read and write access, which is interesting, but there's no files here. There's no files, and it says web control, product control. Okay, I have an idea. I do have an idea. Oh, we have a user back. Ganymede. Nice. We got a user back, Ganymedes. Excellent. We don't have credentials for Dawn or Ganymedes yet, though, but these are viable targets at this point. That's like 50% of a credential attack done. But one thing we can do is go into our files, and what if we touch and try to forge this like our own? Because it seems to be chmodding it, doing some execution. We're going to try product control and web control. So I'm going to touch product control. And I'm going to touch web-control. And we're going to do some rev shell action. I'm going to try a bash reverse shell. And I'm just going to copy this from my rev shells alias. And I'm going to replace it with my ton0 IP. That's all I'm doing. On port 9090, we'll end up setting up a netcat listener. And just to extra make sure this gets executed, I'm going to wrap it, say bash-c the following command. And we are going to echo that to product control. Why is it connected? Oh. Echo that to that. Whoopsie. There we go. Product control. So why touch? I don't get that one. It's an easy way to place files that contain no data. So the next thing we're going to do is if bash doesn't work, we're going to first off set up a netcat listener on port 9090 and just hope we get lucky. But what we're going to do before we upload those is we're going to echo out to web control to netcat netverbose, or just netcat. It may not have the netverbose versioning. So I'm going to ifconfig ton0 again, grab my IP, exit, and then paste this here on port 9090, and we'll attempt a bash reverse shell as well by telling it to execute bin bash -e bin bash and output that to web control. Now that we have that, we have two different payloads and two different files. Let's SMB client to this IT department -n, grabbing the IP of the target machine, which is 192.168.204.11. And it said we had from our enumeration earlier, it says that we have write permissioning. So what we're going to do is attempt to put product control, and it worked. Put web control, and let's see if those cron jobs come along. And before cleaning up what they place, maybe they'll execute. We got a shell. Look at that. So No job control in this shell. We can fix that. But we do have bling bling, for sure. I mean, this is definitely bling bling, without a doubt. In fact, I'm gonna probably end up replacing this shell with a more stable shell. But let's do that by launching my breakout command. Again, this is available on SirenSecurity.io. We're gonna export the paths. First we're gonna spawn a Python 3 that worked. TTY dev PTS 0. Perfect. We are the only TTY on this machine. Now we'll export the path, export the term to be support 256 color, our LL command, which should clear everything out. Very pretty. And then we're going to Control Z, scare everybody in the audience half to death, and basically get our shell back by launching stty-echo into this, chain it into the foreground command and into the reset command. All we really did was background the process. So now that we have that, let's take a look. I can hit Control C as many times as I want, and that's a totally, it's SirenSecurity.io, Syfy, Siren Security. I'll link you guys here to my blog. I also have a post on the Offensive Security Be the Resource Challenge if you want to give that a read. No problem. So at this point, we are a real user. I'm going to attempt a sudo -l, and we can run MySQL as sudo. What if we attempt to, hold on, first can we attempt a MySQL-user root-p root, MySQL-user root-p tor, MySQL-user root-p admin, MySQL-user root-p no password. Okay, so we cannot. But what we can do is run sudo MySQL. But we have access denied. Can we still go to GTFO-bins and attempt to execute? So we're going to check out GTFO-bins, and let's look for MySQL. There is a sudo MySQL-execute, that's it. Sudo MySQL-execute, and what we're saying here is an escape statement with that and a space to bin shell. Access denied for user. Oh, I think they're trolling us. So I think this is a bit of a rabbit hole. But what we're going to do is continue along. Maybe come back to that, but I'm not going to spend forever down a rabbit hole. Which MySQL? That's a good question. If I could type today. Which MySQL? It's user bin MySQL. That was the path. I know what you're thinking. Was it not the path? Was it maybe user bin MySQL? But it is. They match. So what we're going to do is, don't you have to provide the whole path? No, you do not. See, we'll try sudo. We'll learn on stream. -execute as this, bin shell. Access denied for user root at localhost using password no. But I do see a bash history, cat.bash history, and that looks like it's got 0 bytes in it. So MySQL history, .local, not looking great. Not looking great. What about Ganymede? What do they have? Their bash history is 0. Nothing really here, man. LSLSA Etsy skeleton. Yeah, it's all pretty standard. So what we're going to do in this case is continue along with our enumeration. Let's check out Etsy and list out the permissions on Etsy password. LSLSA and grep-i for password. -- color equals auto. And Etsy password has no write permissions. So is there anything in Etsy that is not root shadow or root cups or anything like that? And it does not look like, or root LP, which is cups. It doesn't look like it. That is to say, did the individual user come along, install something, and leave behind a directory which could have had configuration data and left behind credentials? Are there any .secret files here? grep-i for any .secrets that might also contain configuration data? No, there's not. What's optional? Or is there any servers being served out of here? A lot of time we have that. What about the root file system? Anything out of the ordinary in the root FS? Did somebody mess up? No, they did not. Bash history here, cat.bash history, but that is permission denied. Let's check out the world writable locations. This is basically where we can live on the target machine. This is where I can touch data. And, you know, data exists there. Echo hi-twitch.tv out to data. And you'll see that if I cat data, it contains that data. So if we wanted to put payloads in here, we might be a boring, unprivileged user, but one thing boring, unprivileged users can do is execute boring, unprivileged code. Keep that in mind when you're doing kernel payloads. In the meantime, let's check another world writable. And so touch creates a file, or you can say like touch data and then touch data again. But what touch does, like it basically creates an empty file. But you can see that we're able to put data in /temp because that's a world writable location. The only other world writable location that we really have that we've know about is dev.shim. But now we're going to go ahead, absolutely PS. We're going to check the web root and see if anything was behind. Are there any database credentials? CCTV? Permission denied because that is user and group of root. And we are not in anything. We have a scanner, Dawn, nothing too fancy. CD to logs, we already know what's in here. Management, error, daemon, and auth. Let's go back to the root file system. What we're going to do is list out all the open processes, but instead of that crazy stuff we saw on the web, we're going to look just for root because we're looking to go in an upward direction with regards to our escalation. Think we're going up. And we have cron-f. So I like to look down through the square brackets and see what is running here that's kind of exotic. And what do we have? Cups, cron. Cron is how we got in. But nothing really outside of the ordinary, man. Like, nothing at all. Interesting, interesting, interesting. We are not done, though, with our enumeration. Let's try and see if there's any extended capability sets on the system. So we'll say get capabilities dash recursively from the / redirect any erroneous output to dev null. And if we get a ping or something, like, I'm not worried, man. Yeah, there's ping. GStreamer, GTS, PTS, PTP helper. Maybe this is a capsysadmin exploit. There might be a capsysadmin exploit we could do here, but nothing really showing up there. In the meantime, we can check for suids and GUIDs. Let's check those while we're at it. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, did I miss anything? Yeah, let's go through my actual thing here. Cat Etsy fstab. Is there any exotic mounts? You know, if we list out the CPU, we can get the CPU information. We never really go through all of my stuff here. Just mainly the core stuff. What about the mail? You know, let's be thorough. Var spool mail? Not really seeing anything. Not really seeing anything at all. Is ASLR enabled? If it returns 2, then yes. If nothing, then... Okay, so ASLR, or A randomized space location, is on. It's going to make some binary exploitation really difficult if we went that route. Which nmap? Nmap is not present on this machine. And what about env? Any special environment variables that we could hijack? Doesn't look like it. So aside from that, we've done sudo-l. Let's start looking for suids. Suids, GUIDs, and I already see it. Does anyone, not pkexec, no. Which one is it? Which one is it, guys? Which one is it? Yep. There it is. Angel D first, then Zenio, ZSH. and that's it. We're now root over this machine. Bling bling was pretty quick today. I don't know what to say. This machine kind of just let us in. There's a reason it does. We do say, I mean, in all fairness, that this is an easy machine. This is in fact an easy machine. I don't know any other way to put it. But yeah, no, we got it. What happened? Okay, let's slow down. Let's exit, guys. Let's show some individuals what happened. So set UI or SUID binaries equal, or basically binaries that set the user ID with a SUID, oh, that's gonna go off, with a SUID sticky bit. So we call the SUID a sticky bit. And what that basically means, if I lsa bin z shell, take a look at how that's a shiny. I call that a shiny because I have my prompt configured to list out those shiny SUID sticky bits, and then check out, more importantly, read write SUID. So what SUID did is it basically allowed us to execute what we wanted within the context of ring 0. By doing so, all we have to do is type Z shell, and you'll notice we are now entirely root. CD to the root directory. We have our flag, our proof. Let's go ahead. You would count the proof file, but I'm going to leave that to you guys if you want to go ahead and get that on PG Play. I'm going to type ifconfig. That's not here. I'm going to type IPA, hostname, ID, and who am I. And then what I'm going to do is essentially take a screenshot of a region. You are welcome, Prof. They've been invaluable. I'm glad to hear it. I am glad to hear it. And I will save that. And the reason I'll save that is because I want to show the stakeholders during this engagement that this is the level of compromise we were able to obtain over this host name, over this particular machine, and over this particular machine here holding this IP address. So it gives them the IP networking information, the host name, and it gives our effective authority over the machine and who we are. So with that being said, we could get that mitigated, so on and so forth. Let's check out and see if there's any new webinars. You know how it goes. I always like to check every Friday to see if there's any of those new webinars. So yeah, we were able to crush this machine in about 30 minutes. It looks like we have Harbinger Miller talking to Dawn. Dawn is a colleague of mine, so I greatly look forward to hearing this one. You can go ahead and click Save My Seat, and that'll be July 28th, 2022 at 12 p.m. Eastern. So aside from that, guys, that is looking pretty good. Let's see here. Privask, I'm going to be honest, this was just a SUID, and we're going to put ZSH or Z shell. There was no other enumeration that I found too exotic worth noting. Takeaway concepts. Be thorough with your directory and file fuzzing. And always check everything manually down the list for Linux privilege escalation. And aside from that, we learned about SUIDs. That's set user ID. Excellent. And what I'll do is I'll copy all of this, and I'm going to open up a terminal. And we will go to offensive security. Let me just cancel out of this real quick. If you want to go and join us, we are under Wireside Chat. So let's go here to Wireside Chat or Wireside Text, and we will put in Dawn-1 because that's what this was. Dawn-1, and there we go. So for anybody that wanted to know how we did Dawn-1, that is basically our enumeration. That is what we gathered, and that is how we own the machine. So let's go back here, and thank you all very much. Let me take a look at the chat. You are awesome, Siren. Thank you, Summers. Thank you, thank you. Human123 says thank you. Thanks for doing this. You guys are so welcome. I'm sorry about that bumpy start. I'll try my best to clip that out so that, you know, it just kind of starts at the right point on YouTube. And with that being said, thank you all. Thank you. I'm getting the flood of thank yous. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, guys. And I hope that you'll be here next week with a soft start at 4:30 p.m. Eastern and a hard start at 5 p.m. Eastern. And you know what? Maybe we'll hit up Dawn-2 next week. So if you want to go, in fact, we will. We're going to be completionists. We're going to do it. That's more binary exploitation, more BinExp fun. And what we're going to do is we're going to do that. So if you want to get a Windows machine up and running, you have an entire 7 days to go to like Microsoft's website, download VirtualBox or a Windows 10 ISO, which I recommend, to download like a Windows 10 ISO and get that imported into VirtualBox. And that'll be good prep. Hopefully some people can come locked and loaded with the debugger. You will need Immunity Debugger. You will need Mona.py. And you will also need Python 2.7.14, I believe, if my memory serves me correct. And aside from that, that's pretty much all you'll need. Siren, where can I find the record? I'll go ahead and post the YouTube link right there. There you go, buddy. And you can find the recording all there. So I'll catch you guys next Friday for a bit of a special stream. We'll do even more binary exploitation, man. And happy hacking, intruders. Happy hacking.